And so my story is a story of what is lost and what is found. It's a personal story, but I hope from this you can draw the universal from this. My story, our story, continues beyond these pages, beyond this talk. It's been 17 years, and still there are times when I worry about who I tell what first, as if news or a phone call from me might be some sort of currency that I have to divide fairly. I like to think I'm still like this now because I'm more aware of the concerns of all sides of the adoption triad. It's true I've recovered this relationship from my biological families, as the program says. I know I've recovered it fully because I looked it up in the Oxford English Dictionary. To recover means to regain possession of something lost or stolen. To recover means to gain control of oneself or even of a physical or mental state. To recover means to make up for a loss in position or time. To recover means to extract an energy source for use. It means all of these things. Because my closed adoption was opened, I've recovered access to all parts of the triad. I've recovered all parts of me. That my adoption was opened when it was surely an act of grace. It's a form of blessing. As long as we're talking definitions, I'll mention grace as a verb, meaning to dignify, and a noun, meaning kindness. So I've come to find now the right answer for me. I try to give back all that's been given, including the wise words that were once bestowed upon me. There's always enough love to go around. Thanks so much for your time today, and thank you for the chance to let me share my story.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kate. I think podemos tener tiempo para 2 preguntas o así, no mucho más porque vamos muy retrasados en el programa. Así que si alguien quiere hacer algún comentario, alguna pregunta. Sí, Eva.
Hola Kate, yo quería preguntarte, porque has hablado de un proceso muy bonito, muy especial, que sin duda para una lo es, ¿no? Pero, y si quieres hablarlo, claro, a mí me gustaría hablar de también la parte de desestabilización, de desubicación, de tristeza profunda, de también el impacto en la autoestima que el conocimiento o el encuentro con la madre biológica te puede traer. Es abrir una caja de emociones que si no has estado muy bien acompañada y aún así, ¿no?, hay que estar muy bien preparada para digerir todo esto. Y en cambio esto, lo digo porque no se habla de esto, ¿no? Muchas veces se habla solo de la parte bonita, parece que todo sea muy fácil, ¿no? Y en cambio yo creo que vale la pena hablar de esto. Entonces quería saber si tú, esto que te resuena, también lo sentiste. Sé que es una pregunta personal y entonces si quieres me la contestas y si no, no. Pero yo quería sobre todo hacer un poco de contrapeso también, ¿no?, a esta historia tan dulce y tan bonita.
Thank you for the question. I'm here, so I'm glad to share my story. It's not, I've shared my story at many conferences, and in fact, when my book launched, my birth mother was with me, and we presented our story together at the American Adoption Congress. So I am glad to share this story. For me, it's hard to separate out the grief of the loss of my mother with the discovery of Val. I felt, as anyone would in losing a mom, tremendous grief, especially because I had she was dying of cancer. She had ovarian cancer, and she lasted about 3 years. And you knew it was coming, and yet it was very much, you're never really ready to lose a mom. And yet, to have Val find me through her obituary, I felt that it was, for as much as I knew that it would be difficult to develop a relationship with a biological mother if my mom had been alive. That Val found me through her obituary. I looked at it as a way of, this was Mom's way to make sure I would be okay and be able to reach out and develop this relationship with her and to be free in doing that. That might be a rationalization, that might be a justification, but it's what gets me through the day. So, and I think it's really meant a lot then to have my dad too say, there's enough love to go around. It gave me the freedom to be able to develop whatever relationship I wanted to with her. And at first, as I mentioned, I was reluctant to do that because those adoptee loyalty issues, I think, were still so strong, and that I was still grieving for my mother. I felt like I needed to have that moment. You know, those are the days where, you know, it's like when you can get through a day without crying, you're feeling like you're doing good. I really wasn't. You know, the first couple weeks were hard, but then it gets better. It's when you go through the holidays then without her that were hard, but then you have Val there and being able to share that with her. And Val was so, she's just a very giving person. And to be able to have such a person in your life at a time when you need that, it was really, I was just really lucky. I was really fortunate to have her come in my life when she did. And it's been, because she was so patient with me in accepting wherever I was able to, whatever I was able to offer her, that was able to facilitate our relationship further. She had a sister, you know, as I said, she's one of 11 children. She has 8 sisters, and the one who was going to adopt me, when she found out that Val had found me, she wanted to come down and drive right down to my house, an 8-hour trip, and, you know, ring my doorbell and say, you know, welcome to the family. And Val said, no, you cannot do that. And I'm so glad she did, because if they would have been so eager, and I know they were eager, if they had been so in my face right from the start, I would have pushed away. And I do know other birth mothers who have done that. And so this counseling that she received to be accepting of whatever level of whatever I was willing to reciprocate, that really helped facilitate our relationship for the long term. And I'm sure it was extremely difficult for her, but she was just so grateful that I didn't hang up, and I can't imagine hanging up on her. But I do know that I have had, in giving the talks that I have had one biological mother say that she had given up her daughter for adoption more than 50 years before, and again, at a time where secrecy was of utmost importance. And when she got the call from her biological daughter, her response was just to hang up, because it had been a secret for so long. It was, you know, you have to still keep it a secret. And so she wanted to know if she should call her back. Oh my God, yes, you have to call her back and let her know when you're ready. But it's just, I think people just need to, whatever they're willing to, able to do, whatever they're able to receive in return, I think you just need to gauge in your heart what it is that you're willing to do and be able to give, and that's the most we can do, and that's all we can ever try for.
Gracias, Kate. Salvo que haya alguna pregunta no muy larga que podamos contestar con una respuesta no muy larga, lo dejaríamos aquí, porque vamos muy mal de horario. ¿No? Bueno, pues muchísimas gracias. Muchísimas gracias, Kate.